They filmed a whole season without Dikhan. We need to talk about that. Now, they're bringing Ruthless back. Yes, they are. New platform, new season, new alliances on the compound, and they want us to be excited. And look, I am. I genuinely am, because this show has put us through it for 5 seasons, and we keep coming back. Now that tells you everything. But here's not what's sitting well with me, and I think most of you already know. I just haven't been able to shake the fact that Dikhan is gone. Lenny Thomas is gone, and he's not in season 6 whatsoever. They filmed an entire season of this show without him. And I have not talked to a single fan, not one, who heard the news and felt okay about it. That's what we're going to be talking about today, so let's get into it. Let me just put it on the table plainly. Dikhan Wright, played by Lenny Thomas, was one of the most compelling characters this show has ever produced. He wasn't just the muscle, he wasn't just the enforcer, he was the tension. He was the moral rot that made the highest world feel normal, real and dangerous. He was the reason that half the scenes on the compound had actual weight to them. But the character was killed off season 5, and that decision, whether it was creative or contractual or something else entirely, it's left a hole in this story that season 6 synopsis isn't actually rushing to address. Now, the official description tells us Ruth's influence over the highest is growing. Loyalties are fracturing, the FBI is closing in, dangerous new alliances are forming. Okay, that tells us absolutely nothing. But all of that sounds great on paper, but none of it mentions the absence that every fan in the comments have been circling around since the news dropped. And here is where I have to put my writer-director hat on for a second, because this is more than a we miss the character conversation. Dikhan functioned as a structural anchor for this show, right? He was the consistent opposition, not to Ruth specifically, not always, but to any kind of moral clarity on the compound. Now, when Dikhan was in a scene, you really didn't know which way it was going to go. He introduced genuine uncertainty, right? And that uncertainty is craft. That's what good antagonistic writing does. It keeps your protagonist honest. And when you remove that kind of character from a story, you have to replace what they did, not just who they were. You can't just plug in a new villain and expect the tension to transfer. The tension was specific, right? It was built over 5 seasons of watching Lenny Thomas make choices that other actors would have made, I don't know, one-dimensional. He made Dikhan feel like someone with his own logic, his own agenda, his own version of loyalty, right? The show now has to find that somewhere else, and maybe it does. I'm genuinely open to being surprised. But before we talk about if they're going to be able to replace Lenny's energy or not, we have to talk about what we've already lost. And I'm going to be completely honest here. I stopped watching the show. I actually looked at like a little bit of it this morning because I don't know what the heck's going on for real. Because after Dikhan got his head chopped off, that was it for me. Like, it really totally was. And I'm just really curious to know how good the show is going to actually be without Dikhan. You know, how good of a show is it going to be? Is it going to be able to keep our attention for an entire season? Because Lenny got killed off like mid-season, right? So we only had to go a few episodes without his presence, but we're talking an entire season. And in the words of my husband, we're about to find out. We're about to find out. Ruthless is moving to Paramount Plus, and that's a platform shift. And platform shifts usually mean new audiences, right? New algorithms, new discovery, which means that season 6 is effectively a soft relaunch of Ruthless. And Tyler Perry, I'm sure, is asking fans who have been loyal from the BET Plus days, who sat through every twist on the compound, who watched Dikhan die, who processed that season 5 finale, and followed the show to a new home without one of the characters they came to love the most. That's a significant ask, and I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that the creative has to earn the trust back, maybe, right? Season 6 doesn't get a free pass because it moved platforms. If nothing, it has to work a little bit harder. And I'll be covering season 6 here on Ruthless TV. Obviously, 2-episode premiere on June 30th. Weekly after that, we'll be breaking down every episode, every power move, every moment where this show either steps up to fill the void or shows us the cracks. And specifically, I'm going to be watching for how this writing room handles the Dikhan-shaped space in this story, because that's the real test of season 6 for me. Not whether Ruth wins, whether the FBI closes in, but whether the show understands what it actually lost and writes accordingly. I want to hear from you, though. These are just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what you're thinking about the return of Ruthless season 6 without Dikhan. And are you riding with the show out of loyalty, or are you genuinely nervous about what this season is going to feel like without him? Drop me your thoughts down in the comments, and while you're down there, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. You know I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Ruthless like I am, then go ahead and sub to this channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ruthless TV today, you guys, and I'm going to see you in the next one.